The SEC Twitter just got hacked. What? Hi, everyone, and welcome to Ainslie Insights, brought to you by Ainslie Bullion, Ainslie Crypto, and the Gold and Silver Standard, celebrating 50 years. Today, we welcome back Branko to start off another year of insights with an absolute bang. What a crazy morning we just went through on X with the SEC doing something that feels like it could only happen in crypto, let's be honest. Happy New Year, and how are you going today, Branko?
Yeah, good, mate. I'm so happy to talk about today's story. This is the funniest thing to have a government organisation compromised allegedly. It's a wild situation that only could happen, like you said, in crypto in the wild west of finance.
Well, it was an exciting morning for me. I'm sort of there and I'm posting to my friends, oh, it's been approved, and then the price is going up, and then all of a sudden there's chaos, the market's tanking. Tell us what actually happened this morning.
Yeah, so we'll put the original tweet up, but basically the original tweet was the SEC saying we've approved the Bitcoin ETFs, and market went crazy up and was really happy. And then literally 15 minutes later, they came out and put this tweet up as well. And Gary Gensler said this was a mistake, we've been compromised. Which is just like it is. This is so ridiculous. Like I think we'll get more into this, but like for a government organization to display this level of incompetence is crazy. And I think we kind of got a sneak preview of what to expect on the day of the likely Bitcoin ETF's approval. I think I saw that it's like an 82% chance of happening over the next few days.
Yeah.
There's two that have a deadline of January 10. So this was expected tomorrow to some extent. So we kind of got a sneak preview of what to expect. And, the irony that, again, they've just come out and said this was a mistake is hilarious. And it's a big deal because it's just, this kind of thing just shouldn't happen.
So, and I completely agree with you. There's something not quite right about how all of that unfolded. What do you think the real story is here?
So I think clearly they weren't hacked because you wouldn't regain your account 15 minutes later in pristine condition in the event you were. It's
Well,
just
it was also a bit of an odd thing to do if you're a hacker, right? Wouldn't you? And I've seen some comments on this. If you were hacking, wouldn't you say they were denied and let the price crash? That would be
yeah,
probably the bigger response rather than releasing one very officially saying it's all approved that everyone was expecting.
that's a great point because it would be a much bigger market shock if it said it's been denied, and then you can make probably way more. Like the price would probably go through the floor. The other thing is apparently the official SEC page liked a couple of comments as well, which isn't something that a hacker would do. Like, why would you kind of engage in comments if you just want to make a quick buck, right? So clearly, this was, in my opinion, I think in most people's opinions, a mistake that like some intern just forgot to schedule the tweet properly.
So press post, not schedule for later.
Yeah, and this just caused a massive market reaction. So it's definitely not the true story that they were compromised. Let's say.
Well, and I've also seen comments talking about, and if you remember back, Elon Musk got in trouble when he sort of was predicting about bringing, Tesla to market or whatever it was at the time, and mentioning prices. He got sued in that situation for manipulating the market based on what he posted on Twitter. So, like there's obviously a bit of hypocrisy going on here, and
Yeah.
particularly when it's the SEC of all people. So, what does this tell us about the competency of regulators there? Is it a big deal? Is it? I mean, I'm sort of laughing it off, going, you can't even be mad. You've just got to be entertained, really, when it comes to this, because it's crypto after all. But is this a big deal? Is it something we should be taking quite seriously?
I mean, yeah, the irony that this is the organization that's supposed to protect investors and they end up literally harming investors with misinformation is half hilarious, half quite terrifying. Also, the irony that they're talking about Elon Musk manipulating the market when they literally just did that is crazy. And look, it is kind of funny. I agree, but also I think it displays like how incompetent some of these government organisations are, particularly when it comes to crypto and when it comes to kind of situations like this. So obviously it's funny, but on a deeper level, it is kind of scary that this can happen. And also the strategic decision to not just claim it as approved when that's likely what is going to happen is kind of baffling.
Well, I want to know more about that because where does that back them into? Like, what sort of corner are they backed into? Do they release the same post tomorrow?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how funny would that be to have the exact same post released? Because ultimately, it was a very straightforward and pretty mundane post. It was just what you would expect to happen in this scenario. So, is that what we're going to get tomorrow again?
yeah. I mean, that's yeah, exactly. Like if they were to release the same post, clearly that would display that they weren't necessarily compromised. And I think this whole thing just displays this massive incompetence that, to be honest, probably leaks into other areas of the SEC. I mean, I don't think they've done a great job in general. They don't
Well,
have
I saw some legislators. So you had some sort of senators or people from the US government representatives commenting as well, saying, this really isn't acceptable because it really undermines the credibility of that organization when they've been out there lecturing. And that's what I think that's why this is getting so much attention as well. Particularly Gary Gensler, he's been out there quite literally lecturing the public on being safe with their accounts. And, only the quote that keeps being waved around in front of him at the moment is don't listen to advice from anyone other than the SEC. And then the SEC puts forward advice that was completely fake. So, there's a lot of hypocrisy going on here. And I think that's why we think it's a little bit funny, but also it you would think that heads would have to roll in an environment like that
yeah,
where you've got absolute credibility being lost by a major institution that's responsible for like its sole job is maintaining credibility.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, any credibility the SEC had is kind of lost with this. And I think anyone pedestalizing a government organization just because of their title is clearly shows that that pedestalization isn't really necessary. I mean, they make mistakes that like some local business wouldn't even make, right? So yeah, it's just an absolutely insane situation, and we did learn a lot about the competency of SEC today.
So looking back at or turning more to the price prediction, um, I was joking to sort of my friends on this that we actually got to see what would have happened if we got rejected and if we got approved in the one candle, in the 1 hour today, because we had the price shoot up, we had the price shoot down, um, all back to back on those two different tweets. What are you thinking is going to happen now that when it is actually released, when this news is actually released that the ETFs have been approved, which I still imagine is quite likely to happen and probably quite soon, has the situation changed? Because I know there's a lot of talk about longs and shorts getting wiped out. This has really cleared the market out. Does it change what is likely to happen next? What's your take on what happens with the price next?
I'd like to get your opinion as well on this, but I think going in, I was pretty like kind of this thing would be buy the rumor, sell news. We get a bit of a dip once the ETF was approved.
Hmm.
But we didn't really get that. We got a bit of a burst and then it kind of settled. And then the news came out that it was fake and then it tanked. And now it's kind of ranging a little bit. So probably given the sneak preview that we've had, I would say that we're going to probably see lower volatility than expected because we've already had a very high volatility event and we might not get these massive price changes because it's already priced in, but it's not like um, overly priced in, because like you said, a lot of the people that are highly leveraged have now been washed out, so we're not going to get these extreme moves on the day. So yeah, I would say low volatility. I would expect now, getting close to the event with what's happened. What are your thoughts?
I think I who knows, right? Like I was quite confident the price would spike higher, and we seemed to get that on that break. But now who knows what's going on because you don't know, is it going to be delayed because they're investigating market manipulation? Absolutely who knows in this environment now? And I suppose that's part of the fun of
That's an
crypto.
interesting point that it could get delayed and how that impacts price movements as well, because everyone's expecting it soon. And if we don't get that, um, but then again, when we do get it, it could come as more of a surprise. It could get more of a move.
Yeah,
It's
and
I don't know what
possibly more volatility because we at now are really in an unknown situation.
yeah, I would
Like you're not
say
just betting
less.
on it being approved or not, you're betting on a whole range of variables that were completely unpredictable from, just a few hours ago.
I would say less volatility if we get it in the time frame that it's expected, but in the
Yep.
event it's like an investigation, then we're going to have like more volatility because it just adds a whole other element to this that we didn't expect, and traders and people don't know how to necessarily react. So it really depends what happens here. I mean, if they release the same post tomorrow,
Can you imagine?
yeah. I mean, again, like the strategic decision from the SEC to not just claim it and say this, hey, like we did it a day early, like to actually backtrack it and say compromise is one that is peculiar as well. Like it creates a whole other element and a whole other risk to investors, which again, ironically, they're supposed to protect. So
Look, I know there'll be some viewers who, not particularly interested in crypto. And, we usually don't focus heavily on crypto in this particular show. But I tell you what, you don't need TV when there's days like this, and you can just watch the competence of these government organizations just entertain you for many hours. So if nothing else, we've certainly been entertained today, and we will be watching very closely over the next 24 hours to see what actually ends up happening. But yeah, I don't need TV for the next day. That's for sure. I'll just be watching my X feed, I think, and I'm sure you'll be the same.
yeah, X is alive and well at the moment, and it's going to be an exciting next few days.
What a way to start the year. Well, thank you so much, Branko. Looking forward to another great year of insights with you and discussing everything that's happening in the markets. So thank you for that today.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll chat again soon.